Hey everyone, it's Larry here at LC Model Shipbuilding, and this episode we're going to basically continue what we were doing in the last episode, which was the deck bits on the main deck. So this episode is all about doing the aft section of it, so we're moving right along. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please consider a like and subscribe, and let's get started. Okay, so here we are on the stern section here. So I'm going to basically just start with the pieces that we already built in the last video, which are essentially a bunch of vents that go on here. So we're going to go ahead and start putting them on a while. And there's quite a few of these between both sides here of the ship. Now these have, just like on the front, they go, okay, so they go so the shorter side is facing out, and they fit, but they take a little bit of persuasion to get on there, so just kind of got to push them to really make sure they're on 100%. So I'm going to go ahead and put them on, and there's 8 on this side. I'm sorry, 4 on this side and 4 on the on this side. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and glue them on, and then we have a couple little bollards that go on here, which are very similar to the other ones, so I might just put them on off camera. I mean, there's not a whole lot of excitement to them, but I'm still just kind of covering it as I go here. The other good thing about these, there is a little bit of lift here on the deck, and these will actually help to hold that down, so kind of actually works out nicely. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and glue the rest of these on, and then we'll come back and do the next part. So I think I actually, yeah, I'm going to have to do more painting, so I need to cut out more bollards. I apparently didn't do enough the first time, but that's okay. So I'll go ahead and start kind of doing the exact same thing as I did in the previous video to prep this, just to make sure I have what I need in hand to go ahead and put it together. And this one I'm going to put over here just because a little bit of the vent got covered in paint, so I'm going to try to use the one under the turret to kind of hide that. But yeah, I'll put this one on and then I'll pause it. Okay, so I'll be back. Okay, so next up, there's these, they call them paravanes, which look like torpedoes to me, but I don't think, well, they might be, but anyway, there's 8 of them total that go on each side. So they come in the KA set, which are quite a bit more detailed than the original, so we're going to use the KA option. So I'm going to grab them out, and they have photo etch and turn brass that goes to them, so these are those, I do believe. Yep, they are. So we're going to need all of these, so there's 8 of them like I said. So I'm going to go ahead and get them dumped out. And then we need our, oops, there's one more in there. Then we need our brass pieces, which are on here, which is number C, or letter C, geez. So we're going to go ahead and get these cut out and glued on how they need to be. So first we need C17 and C9. So 9 is right here, So I don't usually rock it back and forth like that, but I was just trying to see where its mounting points are. So that's that one. And then we need 17. And these are going to be small buggers, I'm pretty sure. I can't even find 17. 16 right there. Oh, these, okay. And these look to be the straps, I believe, that hold them on to the superstructure. So, from what it's looking like, sorry, I know I'm off camera, this here gets folded. And I need my tweezer. Where'd they go? I know they're right in front of me. Nope, they're on the ground. Okay, so first up, we're going to fold this in half. Like that. And then it gets glued onto here. So I'm going to put a dab of glue on there. And then we connect right here. Not enough glue. Let me put a little bit more glue down on my blotter here. There we go. And that will actually be on the back side, so I may just put some glue on there on the back too, just for a little bit of insurance, because that is such a small little piece. I don't really want to lose it, but if we have that going on, that should help. Okay. Okay, so there we got that. Now we bring this onto there, basically like that. So I'm going to put another dab of glue down. Pretty much just like that. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure it's like perpendicular, how it's supposed to be. And we have to make 8 of these, so you have a little time to kind of get used to making them. Now they have a support bracket in 7 and 8, so these are small, very small. Seven goes on the far side. Whoops, I bent it. There's a little connector right there. Okay. wasn't hard to unbend, so that's good. They do have two little spots that kind of bend to connect there. And there's some real fine bolt details in there too, which I'm not even going to show on the camera because I know you won't be able to see them. But they're there. So I'm going to go ahead and dab a touch of glue onto the bracket we just put on, and then to the other piece that kind of goes around it. Boy, these are really, really tiny. Like that. Except I just glued it to the board, I think. You can kind of see probably how small this is. I mean, it is an extremely fragile piece that we're working with here. And I didn't get a good glue on that, so I'm going to reset that. There we go. Now we need number 8, which goes on this side. And basically the exact same thing happens again. Got my bend backwards. Okay. Okay, now from here there are fins that go on the back of this, so we need to put those on, and those are C21 and C22. So these are some tiny pieces, but they are drastically more detailed than the kit pieces, so definitely worth it. So 22 goes on first, it appears. And we're just gonna kind of get some glue on it. It's not quite center how I want it. Okay, there we go. And now this one goes and rides on the outside of it. And after I build this one, I get to do 7 more of these. So that's exciting. Okay. That one went on a little bit nicer than the first one. Okay, and now there are 2 sets of brackets that come down here on a C11. 10, just looking for it. Oh, here they are. They wrap all the way around it, it does look like. So what we're gonna do is pull them off. Oh, they come in separate pieces too, even better. Oh boy. Okay, so I'm going to kind of pre-bend the first side of these. Good gosh, this is tiny. Okay, I'm gonna dip it in some glue, and then I'm just gonna kind of set it and there is 2 little notches where these set. I'm using accelerator just to get it to set so I can manipulate it. Okay, that's working. Just gotta get it to come around that last bend there. I think I can push that with my finger. Yes. Okay, that's extremely tiny. Now I gotta do it again. But, like I said, it wasn't quite as bad as I thought it was gonna be. They're just tiny. So pre-bending again. Dipping in glue. I didn't think I had a good mount. Get a little bit more glue here. These are wild how small they are. Oh no. That one may have flung to a place I can't find. I'm gonna have to look for that. I'll do that off camera, but in the meantime, I'm gonna steal one of the other ones. I'm hoping that is like right on my shirt here, because that's kind of where it flung to. But I suppose if I lost it, I can make a new one fairly easy. This is just a very thin piece of brass, so. Not sticking. Okay. No matter what I'm doing here, it doesn't want to stick. So these will try your patience with these little brackets. Okay, got it. And we're just going to fold it around and basically end it where we started, like that. Okay, so I gotta get a little bit more glue on this bracket here. Kind of came loose. Gotta get my other can of this out. Okay, but there we go. That is essentially what we want it to look like. Very, very, very tiny. So, let me get this onto our glue spot, and then I'll start making the next 7 of them after I look for this little piece that flew off. So I'm going to pause it while I make them, and I'll be back. Okay, so I got all the pieces basically for the bow, or the stern section put together. There's all the paravanes and the vents and the bollards and the capstan and all that stuff, and more vents, and then the jack staff for the stern. So I'm going to go ahead and get these painted up, and then we'll start to do our assembly on them. Now, this also calls for a lot of stuff that we built in video, or in the previous video too. So all these vents here and everything that has already been built will get finished up as we're going. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and paint these, and I'll be back. Okay, so got everything all painted up and ready to go. So first I'm gonna go ahead and put these vents down over all of these holes here, and there's a ton of them. I don't remember if I even showed them before I mean, they're nothing really exciting, it's just a little vent, but before I painted them, I don't even know if I really talked about or showed them. But we're gonna go ahead and just dab some glue down and put these over. So I think there's like 18 of them total. There's a lot of vents. And I'm not gonna obviously film while I put all 18 or however many there are on, but I'm gonna go ahead and put these on, and I'm also going to go ahead and put the hatch doors on, which go right here, 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 and here. So that, similar to the last video, they just look like that. Dip them in glue and drop it on, and I am putting most of them open. I might put one of them closed. I think I'll put this one closed just for it to be a little bit different. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these glued on, and then I'll come back and show you where we're at with the next part. So be right back. Okay, so next up we have some pipes that go back here. So they go, there's 2 different sets here, and I'm just dipping glue. One goes in the bigger spot here, and then the smaller one goes in the smaller hole. and they go on each side. So we'll do the other one quick. Okay, and I already went ahead and put on the other, the ballards and the, these, yeah, ballards. Next up, I forgot to paint the 4 of these that go here, but we do have the capstans that go in there, so I could go ahead and put them in. And they go right here. So once I paint the other capstans, I'll put them in. But there we go with that. And the other one goes on the other side. And I'll paint them here in this video. I just, I'm gonna have to do another run of paint, so no big deal. Okay, then we have more of our capstan 4s, which were done in the previous video, and they go here. So it looks like there's actually all 4 of them go on here, and I want to try to get them positioned so they cover those little holes that are in there from the scale decks. Which seem to be working fine. To cover it, I mean. Okay. And the other ones go on the other side. And I already put these vents in right here. So they're already on. I gotta do the other side yet. Okay. That one goes there. Okay, so, oh, well, hopefully you could see. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think you could, barely. But anyway, they're there. Okay, so then we have D28, which is this vent here, and that goes right here. So, just grabbing some glue, put it down on here. Okay, then we have 2 training guns. So, I think I put these together in the last video. Just gonna put some glue on it, on the base here. And then one goes here. And the other goes on the other hole there. Like that. Okay. All right, next up, that's pretty much it for this page. And I already did the last page there. So now we got some more vents. So we have intake vent 1, which is the fully squared one. And that comes down here, basically right on there. So I'm gonna put some glue on here. Okay. And then we have the next one, which goes right next to it. So basically the same thing here, just glue in the base of the vent, and then there's four little stanchions that it kind of sits on, and then that basically just drops on right there like that. Okay, then I got a couple more of these smaller intake vents, 3 of them in there. So we'll put them on a minute. And these are kind of directional, like I said in previous videos, so you gotta just figure out which direction it's supposed to go on, which that seems to be right because it only fits one way. Well, not one way, but 2 ways really. If that's just directional, that's all I mean. One more. So realistically, I do believe after this video, most of the plastic is now down, and we're going to be on to assembling the superstructure part and working on that to get it liftable and everything for the motors. And then after that, it's going to be on to rigging, which that's going to be some interesting challenges that I'm going to have to figure out, because I am kind of perplexing how I'm going to do this, whether I'm going to make it so this whole entire deck lifts off in one piece, which is starting to look more and more like what's going to happen, or if I just have the superstructure come off. But I'm starting to really think that having the whole entire deck come off in one big unit is going to be my better option for this. But I got to play with it and kind of figure it out. Okay, there we go. Oh, and then we have our depth charges. They go back here. And they are right here. They were from the previous video. So they go out facing that way. Wait a minute. Oh, backwards. Otherwise they won't roll off. There we go. And one more. Okay, so there's the depth charge. Now we need a piece of chain which connects to the deck right about there and then drops down into here. So kind of just like the first one I did, there's not an actual spot for it to go per se, and that's a lot bigger of a piece of glue than I wanted, but the dull coat will solve that once I spray it. So I'm going to cut it about there and then just let it drop down. And I'll put a dab of glue on the bottom side. And then there is a grate from the KA set that goes here, I believe. I want to look at that on the directions because it does show it. So that goes right there. I believe the kit actually has this part. Well, I know the kit actually has this part too, but I used the KA one. Okay. Great. Then we got our vents already on. We got our capstans already on. That pretty much finishes up this one. The only thing we have left to do then is our jack staff. And I'm going to trim that down just a tiny bit because I didn't know where it would land. So I cut big, which was good. So we just got to get some glue on all the legs there. And then we're just going to drop it down on, like so. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna pause it, then we'll come back. There's a couple little things left to go here, but moving right along. Okay, so the last section is putting the paravanes on. I already did the aft ones, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put the forward ones on right now. So this is temporarily just going to move over here just so I have a little bit of room to work, and they go basically on the sides. So there's two holes, and I can't really show it right this second, but there's two holes on the side where they would glue in with the kit pieces. Since we're not using the kit pieces, we basically are just able to glue these right to the side of the superstructure. So basically one goes right here, and they have like a little shelter thing under this one, and I have found that because of the weight of them, I highly recommend just spraying them. Otherwise you will fight with them, because they are kind of heavy for what they are. So let me just get the other one here, and then there is a couple little lights that go on the, I think they're lights anyway, you can't really tell, but they go right on the side of the superstructure as well, right above it. So we'll get them on, and this one kind of goes in between the two portholes that are there, like that. Okay, so then there's two different small pieces here, and they really do look like lights, which I think they are. So we have the J46, which goes towards the forward part of it here. And there's two holes in the side of the hull that you have to mount these into. But I honestly am not sure if they're supposed to be lights or not. They, like I said, they kind of look like lights, but they kind of don't at the same time. And they kind of have to go sideways. Oh no, it doesn't go sideways. There we go. So that fits in there. So now it definitely looks like a light once it's on there. And then the other one is a vent. Okay, so the hole, I think, got filled with a little bit of paint, so I'm cutting off the mounting nub, and I'm just going to glue it straight on. And the superstructure, the forward superstructure here was repainted, I think twice actually, because I wasn't happy with the color in the beginning. So I'm guessing I filled that hole a little bit with paint, but no worries. Now the other thing I see that I need to do before I get ready to start gluing this down is the very back of this here. I didn't paint far enough because I thought this was covered and it's not, so I'm gonna have to go back through, and these are still not glued down, but I'm gonna have to repaint just the back portion of that quickly before it comes time to start gluing everything down. But that shouldn't be too big of a deal to get that done. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this vent on like we did the other side, and I'll put the paravanes on, and that's pretty much going to wrap up this video once we get this done. So my next step, and I really got to kind of look at this more, is either going to be beginning the rigging, which I don't think that's going to be the route that I go next. I think the next step I need to do is the railings, because if you notice, nothing has railings around it yet. So yeah, I definitely am going to do that before I start the rigging. I was just thinking, like, sometimes it's easier to get rigging to mount where it's supposed to before railings go on, but if I do that, I don't know that I'll ever be able to get them back to where I need them to, or get the railings on, avoiding the rigging. So I guess I kind of answered my own little question here as I'm talking to myself. Well, and you, I'm talking to you, so there's that. Correct the glue on this one. So these little paravanes are extremely delicate, just an FYI. They want to come unglued pretty easy. They have a lot of weight to them, and they're honestly kind of annoying to work with. There we go. So that one's on. And then we got our little light here. Put that in. Once I get some glue on it. So once we get this on, like I said, we're pretty much going to wrap up the video, and then the next video is definitely going to be railings and other details. So off camera, I'm going to go ahead and get this all painted up, basically have everything prepped and ready to go, and then we'll pick it up from there. So that's pretty much going to end it for this one. Thank you very much for watching LC Model Shipbuilding, and we'll see you next time.